Welcome to all inspiring chefs, cooks, and everything in between alike. This is Griever, your guys' host as always. This is my bar, the place I'm always at, and this right here is Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 303. Now, let's get cooking. Let's get cooking for a moment here. Now, this will be a really short review because for one thing, I'm already almost 2 days late. That's because my wife was down and I finally got around to having a housewarming party. I know I've been living here for quite some time, but I finally got the family, the friends, everyone together Friday night. Saturday, of course, was lovely hangover day, and now we're here on Sunday where I'm actually recuperated. So, that being said, guys, that's the reason for the delay. I apologize for that, but let's just get into the chapter because, alright, so pretty much we all knew what was going to happen. There's no new information in this chapter. Sure, we got a little crazy compounds to be able to 28-day, dry age a piece of meat with an ink claw. Yeah, okay, sure, yeah. That's why chefs around the world have been dry aging meat for 30 days and 2 months and all that stuff for years and years and years because no one's figured out how to do it with a claw yet. Yeah, okay. So the superhuman aspect here is, once again, a bit of an issue. But nonetheless, here's what we get. We get the ink claws and Monarch's knife. They remark on the fact that he keeps all the knives in a briefcase with the photo of each of the people. And Saiba looks to the side. There's one interesting part here near the beginning of the chapter where he looks and says, after all these, I have so many knives, and I really used to think that all these chefs were amazing at one time. So clearly, while he was up and coming, until he discovered his cross knives ability, or maybe while he was refining it, it became something to him that all these chefs are people that he enjoyed their cooking, their flavor, their style, their superhuman ability. And these knives symbolize that, but he's gone and twisted it. Like, once he becomes better, he doesn't see them as good anymore or as amazing anymore because he can basically steal the ability. My problem with this is alright, somebody in the comment section referred to this as basically doing what the copycat chef did, and I cannot pronounce the name, Mimasaki, whatever. The copycat guy from the Regiment de Cuisine, the first couple arcs of Shokugeki no Soma. The difference is that though ridiculous and a little bit outside the box, with its tendencies, still his ability was not completely far-fetched in the fact that they said, okay, well, his observation skills and he studies his target for weeks and weeks and weeks and he lives like them, acts like them. It's very similar to method acting, which is a real thing that a lot of actors do. Heath Ledger being a prime example of when method acting can go too far. Method acting is something that is done to achieve fantastic Oscar-winning results, right? So his copycat ability, while over the top, has some basis in truth. Cross knives is basically taking that concept and just going full-blown, we're going Super Saiyan mode with it in a series that was trying to stay a little grounded. And the thing is that he's basically, they go on to say that he's simply multiplying the stuff. I mean, they try to do this, they have the sale meet, and Megumi says to herself, okay, I'm going to be able to do this, right? I'm going to be able to, I've traveled the world, and I've learned all these different cuisines, and I've learned how to make, not so tasty dishes. I've learned how to combine different flavors and different spices, different cuisines throughout the world, and make something that was meh into something grand. So, and that is Megumi's ability, hospitality. She turns something into something that everybody wants. And her dish does do well, even though we don't exactly see anything about it. It's very fast-paced. Once again, I believe it's editors. A lot of us are assuming that this is being rushed because of the editors. Their rankings are tanking, all this stuff, right? So, they are rushing it, and they can't spend a whole lot of time on that. However, the treatment of Megumi, once again here, is that they try, because she's a popular character, they try to push her. They try to push her into being something she's not. She's never going to be top dog. She's never going to beat Soma. She's never going to beat Arena. She's never going to beat Saiba. So what is the point? At the very least, when they introduce superhuman abilities, a lot of people have said that are trying to defend this, is that we have seen this. I brought up one character already, the copycat. That could be considered a superhuman ability. Alright, fine. Where's another character that clearly, from the beginning, had a superhuman ability? Hayama. Hayama's nose, the Spice Blend King. That was his thing. My problem here with, once again, the fact that they brought in Megumi and stuff, it was simply a popularity poll. Because hospitality was introduced at the beginning of this arc. Megumi never had that. Takumi with this, his sword dance ability or whatever they ended up calling it, collaboration, whatever. They had like 3 different translation names for the ability. And that was also something that wasn't really established. The ones that was Copycat, God Tongue, and Hayama's nose. But they X'd out 2 of the characters just because they kind of fell off the wayside. I can understand the Copycat a little bit, but Akira Hayama was a main rival for Soma. And that would have at least, if they had brought in some of the characters that had already shown the seeds of having superhuman abilities. Because let's be frank, the only real one with a superhuman ability up until this point was really the God Tongue. And it wasn't utilized like that's what it was. So if they had incorporated a few more characters with their quirks into becoming more like, okay, this whole time it's been a superhuman ability, that would have made the flow, the transition into this arc so much better. And especially when you really sit down and think about Copycat versus Cross Knives here, it's just like, well, this is like getting Super Saiyan, like Goten and Trunks getting Super Saiyan at the beginning of Dragon Ball with none of the pain, none of the loss, none of the suffering, none of the training. They didn't have to work for it. The Copycat has to work for it. Cross Knives is basically an OP broken ability where he just picks up a knife, he takes 25 years of this chef's hard work, patience, and skill, and takes another 25, 30 years of this one, and he combines them, and he multiplies 25 times 25, which is an insane number. And that's what the judges of the WGO bring up, is that Megumi's flavor, she pushed that meat to its limit. This is the best she could make, this on-sale meat, this B-grade meat, to its limit. The problem is that Cross Knives supersedes it. He literally transformed, which is of course ridiculous, but he transformed this flank steak, 1A piece of crap into Kobe beef, according to them, by simply injecting it with a couple of Cross Knives, abilities. Regardless of the ridiculousness of that, it's too broken and too OP, really. And then he goes on to say, he's talking to the bookmaster, Mana, through the monitor and stuff, and says, hey, you know what I want? What do you think of my ability? Pretty good, huh? He's doing that kind of shtick. Once again, not a villain. He's not too bad as a villain, really, because not too many people like him. Hence, I guess the point of a villain. Though usually you like to think a villain is cool when they have badass moments. You're hyped for things, similar to go no farther than people like Kaido or somebody like that. Like, that's hype. We would like to see him do cool things. In this case, no, we just don't like him as a character or really as a villain, even if we do hate him. I've seen people make that argument. And at the end of the day, he goes on to basically tell the same thing to Arena. He's like, look, here's the deal. You know as well as I do, the God Tongue cannot win this competition. And this stops Arena in her tracks. Once again, Arena's character totally been X'd off the face of the earth, crossed out, broken, scratched away. I mean, if we took Arena from Volume 2, this is Arena from Volume 2 with from Volume 2 till Volume, 26. None of that has happened. Not a single bit of that has happened. Then this is Arena's reaction. So once again, I'm not going to complain about that much further. But yeah, so Arena's character kind of been crapped on, but her reaction is, of course, the same with Azami all over again. Sort of like, okay, look, I'm going to be the one to get the top of the blue. I'm going to be the one to do this. I'm going to make my mother say it's delicious. That's the only way I can face her, sort of idea. And I'm like, well, that breaks the entire thing of you not needing, your parents' approval for stuff anymore, which you already had an entire arc based on that. Literally the last arc. It wasn't even like a few arcs ago. It was literally the last arc. And everybody else complains about shonen tropes and arcs doing that kind of thing, like repeating themselves literally one arc after. It's okay to have repeat arcs. One Piece does it. 936 chapters, they don't really have much of a choice. One Piece has done this before, but it's like people compare Alabasta way, way further on and stuff. But anyway, we're getting off on tangents here. Point of the fact is that she thinks that, once again, broken character, blah, 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 she wants to be top of the blue, blah, blah, blah. And Saiba's not wrong here. He says the God Tongue can't bring her what she wants, because the God Tongue is what broke her in the first place. The God Tongue, and if they wanted to go out on the fear of, if Arena was afraid, if she was using her mother as a way to, and I'm sure they'll bring this up as the reason the whole time, but it's not going to work, I'm sorry, I won't buy it, is that she looks at her mother, realizes that that's what I will become. If I can't fix her, then I will eventually become her, and I'm going to be hooked up to an IV for the rest of my life, and that terrifies her. That would be so much better writing. It wouldn't break her character. It wouldn't be all about getting her parents' approval. It wouldn't be all about, totally forgetting everything with Azami and stuff. It would literally be about thinking about herself. Not as an Ice Queen, not as this thing, but actually the same person. It's okay to be scared. She can still be the Ice Queen, but she's scared because she sees her future in her mother with the same abilities. She sees what the ability did to her mother. She doesn't want it to happen to her. And she's looking to save them both. It's a two birds, one stone sort of idea. And that would fit Arena's newly developed character perfectly, that she's greedy enough. That would be a perfect line. She said, I'm greedy enough where I'm not just trying to save myself or you. I'm going to save both of us with one dish. I am that greedy because I am a queen. I am the headmistress. I am, that would be the confident Arena that she's grown into becoming, and I would have been totally fine with that. And they might pull that stunt in the end, and I won't buy it, but nonetheless, Saiba goes on to say, the God Tongue, it broke her. Nothing you make is going to fix it because you don't think she hasn't already tried it. She's probably gone to every chef. She's tried and tried and tried. Now she despises food. The God Tongue broke her taste buds. Nobody says it, but they're eventually gonna break yours. You cannot fix her because you don't have the capacity to do so. I can multiply, something no other chef can do. I can multiply an ability, and it's proven right here with the whole Megami thing. Megami pushed a piece of meat to its limit. It's 100%. You can't get better out of that meat. But Saiba's broken ability does it. So even though that's kind of bullshit, it's still technically not wrong. Okay, cross knives is the one thing that so far what we've seen can go above and beyond what food is capable of in a certain sense. So it makes me wonder if he actually took Kobe beef, could he make Kobe beef better than Kobe beef? For example, I don't know. But all of this has come to fruition, and he says look, no one here is doubting my victories anymore. Everyone knows that nobody's disagreeing. I'm gonna win. They even bring up the fact that you basically have to go against multiple chefs at once. You're not just facing Saiba, which actually makes him look like a really weak chef. I'm of the opinion that it's going to be that whole trope where he's relied on cross knives too long and he's forgotten how to be a real cook with his own knife. That kind of stuff. I mean, you can make the argument that we've seen him use his own knife and stuff before, but I mean, maybe his skills really have dwindled in that way, that without cross knives multiplying, he can't make dishes on par with some of the best of the best. It's a possibility. And they bring up the multiple chefs thing. Once again, you have to face multiple at once. Who can do that? That's impossible. Once again, I go back to the Regiment de Cuisine. Soma did this with the samurai swords. He used swords from all the classrooms. He wasn't actually on top. He just kept drawing sword after sword after sword of all his classmates, all the Polish Star Dorm, all the different flavors. It wasn't just his own sword. He used multiple swords of multiple chefs with multiple flavors. It's like the better version of cross knives, or the good guy version. So I'm assuming that they're laying this on thick. They keep doing this every couple of chapters when they talk about cross knives, is that Soma's going to pull that out in his matchup against him. Because Arena's character, they're setting her up to fail. They're setting her up that she's gone evil, and evil people don't win in shonen. When a character, goes rogue for power, they always end up failing to meet their goal. Sasuke doesn't beat Itachi. Beyblade, Kai doesn't end up beating what's his name, Tyson. All those things. Seto Kaiba never wins by going to the dark side. Like, nobody ever wins by going to the dark side of their group, of being a good guy, right? Vegeta still never really beat Goku in the end of the day. I mean, you could call it a victory by going Majin. It's the same idea. Arena's basically gone Majin, and she's just gonna fall on her face. So a lot of people are saying, is it gonna be Arena against him? Well, they might face off, but Arena's got to lose in the same way that we all knew Megumi had to lose in this chapter. It would have broken it. It's just not going to make sense. So at the end of the chapter here, we get Soma says, "Well, I disagree." Ha ha ha! Cliffhanger, and we know he's going to say something probably, childish or maybe cool or something at the beginning of the next chapter. 304. I'm not super hyped for it, but this chapter wasn't terrible. We already knew the outcome. They didn't pull anything more out of the hat than is necessary, I guess. This review went on longer than I thought, guys, but I thought I'd get my thoughts out there about Cross Knives, and I want to keep reiterating about the idea that Soma is going to pull out the good guy version of Cross Knives, that Arena's character could have been fixed even at this point, and it would have worked if she had been hiding it, if we just had that one broken down crying conversation between her, Megumi, and Soma, or someone saying, like, I'm terrified that I'm going to become my mother because the God tongue is now my curse. It's not a blessing anymore, it's a curse. If they had gone down that angle, it would have been okay. But they didn't, and if they try to pull it out at the end of the series once she's already lost, well, that's always weak. Don't you always hate that? Don't you always hate that when the character goes to the dark side for more power, thinks it's the right way to do it, but once they lose, they realize they're a mistake. They can't realize their mistake before they've lost, before they've already, well, that didn't work. Because that's cheapening. It really cheapens it, right? They were like, oh, well, I did get more power, and I was super strong, but once it stopped working, I'm like, please forgive me, because clearly it doesn't work, I'm going to try it your way again. It's not that they had a real change of heart. It's not that they honestly believe what they're saying. It's that they tried it being a loner and doing it the dark way, and it failed. That's the only reason they stopped. If they stop before they actually fail going dark, if someone talks them out of it, then it's character development. Otherwise, it's just drama for the sake of drama, and then it just doesn't work. And unfortunately, that's probably going to happen to Arena. So anyways, guys, what did you think of the chapter? What did you think of the review? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, it's always very much appreciated. I apologize once again for the lateness of the review and, of course, the scattershotness of said review. My thoughts are all over the place with this manga right now. I asked you guys last review or the review before, should I drop the series? I'm really considering it. Everyone so far has told me no, don't do it. Just keep with it. At least keep with it for the end of this arc. That kind of stuff. People gave me other suggestions to replace the series with something else. But for right now, I think I'm cooled down. I think that I will continue because it is a series that I do love overall. One bad arc, once again, Bleach, one of my favorite series, had a bad arc. It's called Fullbring. We all know it, and don't even get me onto the anime fillers, the bounce and stuff. Bleach had a lot of issues with certain segments and arcs, and I stuck with it. Still one of my favorite series overall now that it's all said and done. So I think I can stick through this. I think I can manage it. And hopefully, I do hope for another arc. I hope for a new arc where they keep plot threads simple. Where they pick one or two, you get your main plot thread, you get a subplot thread, and you go with it. And stop throwing away all the other Polestar dorm characters to the side who are better chefs than Takumi and Megumi, because then you take away the tension. But that being said, guys, once again, like, comment, subscribe. This has been Griever. Drink responsibly as always. We'll see you back here next time. Keep going.